Hey everybody, welcome to Unscripted Real Estate Talk on Wednesday, WWDB AM, Radio Talk 860. Here we go into the new year, and I am pumped today because I got these two, I'm not even calling them lions, I'm calling these guys cheetahs. I got Ryan McManus and I got Brandon Ribeiro. Did I say it right?
That's good.
There you go, here we go. Well, I'm from Agent PHL in Philly. See, we do Selling 215. We got Agent Phil in the city. I love it. It's easy to remember. You guys were brilliant when you did that. It's Philly Airport. It's fantastic. So there you go, PHL. And the TV show, PHL 57. So our show's been on things and stuff like that. So, hey, welcome. We're going to have a ball today. We're going to have a little bit of fun first. Everybody, you can always follow me on Craig Lurch, Selling 215. Out on Instagram, you can always go to Unscripted Real Estate Talk. You can always give me a call. If you have any commercial questions, we're going to be talking about commercial real estate. You can always reach out to me. I'll get you to these guys, 267-214-7728. Here we go. Let's jump into this. All right, the topic of today that we're going to be discussing is commercial real estate in Philly. It ain't dead. It just got smarter. And we're with Ryan McManus, like I just said, and we're with Brandon, business partners in Agent PHL. All right, you guys. Question for you: you were born here, out in what Brandon, the Quakertown area, right?
I was born in Lansdale.
Lansdale, there you go, and you still reside out in that area.
Yeah.
And you're pretty much the whole marketplace of all the counties, the 5 counties. Do you go farther out in the middle of the state in Harrisburg, or do you guys do the whole state?
We don't go that far, but we go into Lehigh Valley.
Okay, Allentown and stuff like that. Great. Right, you were born and raised in what area? I know your so you're an SOB in the business too.
Yep, family business. So, born in Malvern, reside in Blue Bell.
There you go. And you went to Malvern Prep?
Yes. Football, basketball, and then Catholic University after that.
Oh, there you go. And big news within the past 3.5 days, a brand new bouncing baby.
Scotty Rose.
There you go.
Born Sunday night, 11:54. Took a lot of sting out of that Eagles loss that we had.
Oh, my God. That was tough.
Beautiful baby girl.
There you go. Love that, Scotty Rose. My mother-in-law was talking about that the other day, how the girls are getting more boys like Bobby and Scotty. She actually said that, named Scotty, the other day because my son was mentioning that, one of those. My son Cole just got married. We went all C's, Corey, Cole, and Casey. So it's
Yep.
There you go. But congratulations on that. So we're going to jump into that, but we always have a little bit of fun about Philly to start. So first of all, the Eagles win. The Eagles lost. My foul. You still winning. Were you there or were you watching it at home? Well, you have a 3.5-month home too.
Yeah, I was at home.
I mean, you guys are in the thick of thin, selling real estate, running around, babies on the way, and dealing with Eagles losses.
Yeah.
There you go. How'd it make you feel? You're like, ugh.
I just want right to bed.
There you go. And you were just sitting waiting for Scotty to come out, so you were just like.
Yeah, we suffered through the game, saw the loss coming. They did not deserve to win. That was a poor performance. So the better team won.
Absolutely. It was cold. It was long and cold. We got down there about 11 o'clock. I was with my son Corey and a bunch of other guys, and it just rallied, and then it got really, really, really cold, and it got long because they lost it themselves. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But the positive news, I heard Brandon Graham's coming back out of retirement. He's like the Cher concert, like the final concert. He keeps coming back.
BG can do what he wants forever.
I know. He's great. I've had a chance to golf with him and things like that. So we were talking about golf and handicaps. Real estate's kind of like golf. If you don't hit the ball's not going to move. If you're not doing the moves in real estate, you're not going to make the moves. So it's a great analogy of some of the things we talked to. So I always got to ask this question. All right, seeing you guys are not from in the city. You guys were raised in the burbs, kind of where I was, but my son lives down in South Philly, so he knows all the cheesesteak places. Where's your favorite? You guys are all over the place. Ryan, I'm going to go to you first. Favorite cheesesteak place that you got to pick?
Cheesesteaks in the city, you gotta go Angelo's.
There you go, boy.
Newcomer, but it's the best.
Danny kicks it with his extra sharp, with his Cooper sharp cheese. Good friend of mine. He just came into the golf club with us. He's a good dude.
Close runner-up, I'll say John's roast pork.
There you go. There you go. My son likes that one too. Go ahead. What's yours, Brent?
I gotta go with Angelo's as well.
There you go.
Yeah.
The crazy line around the corner.
Yep.
It always goes. So again, these are not mine's Angelo's too, but as I always say, There's many, 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 many of them. There's been little mom and pop shops out in the main line that people have talked about, the corner spots. There's one over in Camden. It's called Doc's. I think it's a small bar. Actually, Anthony Bourdain was there one time. I think it has the poppy seed Kaiser roll, and it's a cheesesteak on it, but it's a little hole in the wall, little bar or something like that. So everybody has your own, but here's, I always say, in the real estate world and in the community of where we live, go support the local businesses, because doing that helps support the real estate market and the places that we go from there. All right, the other thing, did you know? I always play these things. These are a little bit of fun. Well, first of all, we do know that that Sunday is your daughter's birthday, but did you know today is National Pastrami Day? Do you like pastrami?
No.
Do you like pastrami?
Don't go out of my way for it, but I'm a carnivore, so I'd go yes.
There you go. B, Brent?
I'll eat anything.
I had to do this one because I had to give a shout out to my son's father-in-law, Fran Doherty. He's the best. I was just talking to him before he comes in. He's down in Florida for another week or so. I was like, dude, where are you going to find your pastrami down there? I said, normally you go up here to Ben and Irvis or something. He used to be famous deli with Steve Stein over in Northeast Philly. So, yeah, later on, my mother-in-law and father-in-law love pastrami, like the hot pastrami sandwiches. So guess who's been elected to go to Ben and Irvis and go figure that out? You're looking at them, so, or you're hearing from them. So here we go. The other thing is, hey, get your house or get your home organized. That's even good in business. When I hear home, you guys came to the end of your 2025 year. You got to get your crap together, excuse the expression there, to get into 26, or you're going to carry all the bad dead weight with it. So you got to get it organized. When in selling residential real estate, we go in and we have people stage properties. This is a great segue into how do you get some people with commercial properties? Because you guys are killers in multifamily commercial properties, hundreds of millions of dollars of listings on the property, a lot of tenants, a lot of leases. Give me some idea. Either one of you, just jump in as we go. Have a conversation of how do you get somebody organized to get on the market? It's not like all of a sudden, boom, we're jumping on the market.
Well, I think that all kind of stems back to management and having a good property manager, curb appeal, the cleanliness of the building, occupancy or vacancy, and that all kind of stems back to management. Having a good property manager that really takes care of the building, whether that's in-house or subbed out to a third party. That's a critical part of commercial real estate, is having it properly and well managed.
Mm-hmm. And it's not just getting decluttered like we talk about houses and getting them cleaned and polished, like having your shoes polished and stuff. It's like getting your books polished, making sure your leases are in place, making sure your insurance liability places are in place. Because I understand that's one, like the biggest line items in the multifamily and stuff is that insurance bit. So how do you help a manager? Like somebody just doesn't say, hey, we're going to sell. They would call you, Ryan, and you would just say, okay, let's look at what you've got. How would that process take place?
Yeah, well, at times they do call us and say we want to sell, and so sometimes we have to work backwards. We'd like to be as proactive as we can from the jump, but in our business we rely a lot on pro formas. So if a building is mismanaged but it could be repositioned, then we show that on paper of optimal performance, how the building should be run, where the expense ratio should lie relative to the income that the property generates. So it's understood that not every building is professionally managed or fully optimized. And in the Cliff Notes, in our offering memoranda, in our listing descriptions, we'll call that out if need be. Property's operating at a certain level, but it could operate at a much higher level, and that's called the pro forma approach.
Okay. So that actually, it shows the good, the bad, and the ugly, but it actually shows the brilliant when it's really broken down, and you really come in and help polish it up.
We have to sell a lot of upside.
Okay, so you show the added value when you're dealing with a buyer that's buying, saying, look, you have an opportunity to pick up X equity instantly by buying at this number, by doing this action.
Exactly, and it's value add is a classification of buildings, multifamily buildings. So we don't often get the chance to sell value add buildings. We do have a new $12 million listing in Old City, 45 units. That's a light value add. That's a bit of a unicorn for us. We primarily sell new construction. But to your point, Craig, the value that can be added is often through the management approach and loss to lease. So units that are renting under market that should be achieving higher rental rates, insurance, like you mentioned, items like that, real estate tax abatements. There's ways that we can easily identify holes in a building or on a P&L or on a T12 to show that the building should be operating at a much more efficient level.
Okay, here's a question for the people that don't know, and I'll admit, what's a T12?
The T12 is your trailing 12. Is your trailing 12. So it shows your income, your expense, line by line, all the way down to the bottom of the page. You get to your NOI, your net operating income, and that is the return that you're getting on the building after expenses.
So the 12 is months.
12 months of the year, January to January.
All right. So you guys actually deal with what I call the major stresses of we'll say the 4 T's. When somebody wants to sell, they're tired of toilets, tenants, taxes, and Texas, theoretically. And they're like, Ryan, Brandon, come in here. Help me solve this problem. How do I go on to my next step? Are you running into the problem that some of these buildings have been longtime family owned, or the ones that you see selling? Well, you mentioned a lot of new construction, but of the ones that are the older buildings, you seen they've been longtime family owned and they've been left to the family and the family's now selling them? Or do you think that there's just so much equity or they're tired of the city and they're selling? How are you seeing these buildings deciding to go for sale?
Well, I think there's a lot of different factors. Family-owned buildings, legacy buildings, we call them like mom and pop operations. Those are, a portion of what we do as well. But in most cases, like that's where our knowledge kind of comes into play, where we can show the true potential of a building. Because if you've owned a building in your family for the last 50, 60 years, chances are the expenses are probably way out of whack, especially if they're doing it themselves.
Exactly.
So our job then comes in to show them what it truly should be doing. Mm-hmm. And we position that to the sellers to help to the buyers, to help the sellers maximize value. Mm-hmm. Because in most cases, those buildings are, I would say 90% of the time, not performing the way they should. But it works because they probably don't have any debt, and it just works. And it's been doing that forever. And a lot of times, like you said, they're inherited, so it's kind of like just let it go, let it run.
It's a cash cow,
exactly.
So what the heck's the difference,
But in most cases, that exact financial model would not work for a buyer today if they're buying it with debt, current, rates and stuff like that. So our job then is to really position the property in its best light. What could it be doing, and how can you maximize value? And then going back to the previous point of value add. Well, value add in commercial real estate can mean many different things. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to renovate. You can simply just manage the building at a higher level, and that could be increasing rents, just looking at overall efficiencies on the financial statement. Mm-hmm. So that is value add in commercial real estate, and you can increase the value of a building drastically by just improving the performance financially, without even lifting a finger or putting any paint on the walls. So value add in commercial real estate can be many different things, but most of the time it's financial.
Okay, so it's really the decluttering of the P&L statement.
Exactly.
It's like creating a good EBITDA, whatever that be. EBITDA, that word always gets me done, when you're selling a company. But yeah, it's like one of those things where ours is like clean the thing up and it gets emotional and things of that nature.
Right.
With the seller. You get it cleaned up. Buyers want 70% of it clean, ready to go. 30% have some vision. 70% of what's my amount of money down, what's my monthly payment, and how soon, if I wanted to pay it off, I don't have a penalty, and am I comfortable, and blah, blah, blah. So that's kind of pretty much where the residential looks at it. That commercial is a whole other animal. I get involved in some of it just from some of my clients, but you guys are the experts on this stuff. Whenever I need someone, I come to you guys, because you guys eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff as true food. But so when you're dealing with the new construction stuff, you have tax abatements that are in place. Are they still building with a lot of the tax abatement? I heard a lot of it was taken out. A lot of your buildings still have the tax abatements in them.
Yeah, so that's a big component of what we do, and it helps get a lot of buildings sold. Back in 2022, they essentially cut the tax abatement in half, the city of Philadelphia. So it used to be a clear 10-year run. Mm-hmm. You pay your taxes based on the assessed land value rather than the improved structure, and now it's phased, so 90, 80, 70, 60, 50. So you don't have the full 10-year abatement, you essentially have a 50% abatement. And what happened with that was that you saw a record amount of permits being filed in the run-up to the expiration of the old abatement. And as a result, you see 20,000 units go up in the city of Philadelphia. Some get built, some don't, but the value in the previous tax abatement it is what it is. It's 50% more than the current value of the abatement. It's still an incentive. It's better than paying full tax, but we wish we had the old abatement back, and 100% of our clients share that sentiment. Mm-hmm. So whatever the city of Philadelphia can do to get the abatement back to what it used to be and keep the city growing, especially in the neighborhoods that really need it, it's an incentive for neighborhood growth. Yes, it's a reward for a builder, a developer, or a buyer having to pay tax, but more importantly, it gets stuff done. Absolutely. Gets buildings built.
I mean, Alan Dom, from when he was running for mayor and I'm friends with him, he had said, I'd rather see a 20-year tax abatement, because what it does is people are going to dump money into it versus going the other way of it. How does that affect when a buyer's buying a building and you have a tax abatement now, in 5 years from now it's going to decline, and you have your rents there? With a 10-year, it really helps the value in showing the buyer the value over the time, because they have more time to recoup money into the reserves of know where they're going to grow the rents. But how is that affecting prices today? Is that tax abatement affecting you a lot? Is it changing a lot?
Yeah, so that's coming into play a lot recently, because you're starting to see a lot of these abatements burn off. And what's happening is a lot of lenders are underwriting in a way that disregards the abatement, because they need to know that their investment or the loan is being backed by an asset that's going to be performing even after the abatement's done. And so it's causing a lot of adverse actions in our business, and it's stuff that we have to overcome. Rates are coming down, which is good, but we are noticing that it's definitely becoming difficult. Even buyers are underwriting, when they look at deals, it could have an abatement, but they're just going to underwrite it with the full unabated taxes, what the projection would be after the abatement's done. And the truth is, if you have a 7-year note and your abatement's over in 2 years, well, what happens after that? And a lot of people are starting to become cognizant of this, and it's becoming difficult. So hopefully the city does do something about the abatements. I know that there has been talks of a 20-year abatement from office conversion, which is great if that ends up passing. I don't remember exactly when that's supposed to be talked about, but something needs to be done. Because the Philadelphia as a whole is actually massively undersupplied with workforce housing. And it's a problem, because the cost of construction, the cost of debt, it just doesn't make sense. And in many cases, we speak with developers and they tell us flat out that, hey, you can give me this development site for free and I still can't build it because it just won't pencil out. And
I've heard that.
It's a problem.
I've heard that. And that's an interesting line, because you used an interesting line. Workplace people living.
Workforce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a ton of luxury coming into the city.
Yeah.
Ton of it. More of it. Right down the river. What is there? 2,000 units over there by the river casinos and all that stuff. You've got an onslaught of this luxury property stuff, but you don't have the bread and butter of the hard workforce that wants to stay in the city, that can't stay in the city, or is being driven out of certain neighborhoods because of some of those things, whether it was plight and it's being redone now and the costs are going up, or whether it's not. There was something I wanted to ask you are you seeing that, who's like the most buyer? What's the demographic of the buyer that you're mainly working with today that you see buying in the city?
New York influence is very heavy. It has been in our business for the last 10 years, but it's only intensified with the regulations and the new officials in New York City, particularly the mayor. So we see an intensification of New York influence here in the Philadelphia market. So they are our leading source of buyers right now: New York, New Jersey, other metros that are within a 2-3 hour drive, where they simply can't find the yield or comparable quality of life. In Philadelphia, we have world-class cuisine, connectivity, culture, you name it. It's a top 10 city. It's a top 10 city for rent growth. Even in today's marketplace, Philadelphia is top 10. And so we see a lot of buyers coming from other nearby cities looking for increased yield, but comparable caliber of asset and quality of living.
I think our assets are really, really grown. I think the communities are really, really growing with it. When you talk about that, it's interesting hearing coming in from outside, because in New York they're used to getting a 2% yield. Here they're okay at getting a 6.25%, let's say, or a 6. Philadelphia people want 8 and 11. So the challenge is the people that live here have one expectation, and people coming into it are excited about what the buildings are being promoted at or where you are, because their reality is really way different from where it is. So I hear that conversation a lot, and that's where it's going. Let's talk, what neighborhoods do you guys see hot right now? If you were to pick your top 2 hottest neighborhoods, what would they be? That you're selling your most in, or you're really pushing because they think it's a good investment in the future?
Brandon, what are your top 3?
Oh, passing the buck. I like that. Hold on. What was it do when you play cards? You're knocking. He's knocking.
Pass the mic.
I'm passing it.
So I think, during COVID, a lot of neighborhoods like Francisville and Center City surrounding neighborhoods that were kind of seeing a lot of growth flatlined, and basically all the new construction stopped. It got a little saturated. I think that those neighborhoods have a lot of potential. I don't think their growth stopped. I think it just took a pause. I think they're even neighborhoods like Temple. I mean, we control a lot of inventory at Temple, and with that whole North Broad district, I truly see a lot of potential in it. I think that it doesn't give you the stability that you might have in a neighborhood like Rittenhouse or in Center City, but I think if you're looking for optimistic growth, I think that's a great location. It's going to require patience. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, but there's a lot of potential for what it could be. And especially with John Fry at the helm at Temple, I think everything that he's done in every university that he's been to, been a part of, it's proven that he brings success with him. And I think that you're going to see a lot of ripple effects from what he's doing at Temple. I know he's very bullish in real estate, and we're confident that that entire market is going to improve. So, I mean, those are kind of I'm a little bit different maybe than what most people might look for in stability and stuff like that. I look for potential. And I think that those neighborhoods have a lot of it. I mean, there's a lot of amenities. There's a lot of, like what Ryan was saying earlier, connectivity to Center City and surrounding neighborhoods. I think that those are great neighborhoods. I think they present a great opportunity for somebody, whether it's a local investor or specifically an out-of-state investor. If they're used to these slightly grittier neighborhoods and they just want something that has a little bit more upside, I think that those are great areas.
Philly is all gritty. We're gritty, we're passionate, and we're in the city of brotherly love, except if you're wearing somebody else's jersey coming in town. But hey, my boys went to Temple, played for Matt Rule there, played football, so here we go. Cherry and the white, fight for the cherry and the white. But I love seeing that area. That area is really, really grown up. Agreed, you have to have patience, and you have to have the stomach for it, or a really good property manager who has the stomach and who has the thumb and the strength to do it. You pay for what you're going to get. You're going to pay for growth. You're going to pay for it as. Some of the big things that I'm hearing a lot of buzz on, I don't even know what the point cap is on some of it. On some of these small investors buying, to show the value that they can really afford the property. They might have the down money. They may have inherited a couple $100,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 from an estate or something, but they don't financially qualify to buy. Are you guys getting involved in the DSCR loans? Which are just the building qualifies, the individual doesn't have to qualify?
Yeah, well, I mean, financing as a whole in commercial real estate is all really relative, majority on the building itself. I mean, the building has to perform. So there definitely is a DSCR component to it. So you have to meet that, 1.2, 1.3%, 1.25. And that is an issue with going back to the abatement conversation, because a lot of lenders, like I was saying, underwrite without the abatement. So we really have to make sure that, the numbers, and it goes back to management too. right? If you have a building that's 50% vacant, it's not going to be easy to sell. You know, we're dealing a lot recently with 1031s, which is a major positive sign for our business because 2 years ago they were nowhere to be found. So getting creative with acquisitions is something that we've been forced to do over the last couple of years because a lot of these deals just don't pencil out. So getting creative with joint ventures, with having some sellers stay in as an LP, limited partner, in order to make the numbers work for the seller. My belief is that regardless of if it's a single family home, you know, a $50 million building or, you know, just a warehouse, the only deal that can really happen is one where all parties win. And the seller has to get what they want, the buyer has to get what they need in order to actually make the purchase happen. And that's our job as brokers, to really figure out how do we get everybody, you know, on the same page, and how do we get everybody what they want in this transaction. And so that's basically what comes back to the performance of the building. So a lot of offers in new construction might be contingent on a certain occupancy percentage. So if we're going under contract on a building that's, you know, brand new construction, nobody's moved in yet, well, the offer may be contingent on a certain occupancy percentage so that they can qualify for financing, so that they can meet that DSCR that you just talked about. So yeah, I mean, that does play a role in our business.
That's huge. Guys, I'm going to tell you something. We're doing this again because we didn't even touch on the iceberg of this. You guys promised me you're going to come back and do this again? We're down to like the last minute or so. But also, have you guys, real quick, in 30 seconds, have you guys been seeing people use their 401ks to buy properties, like through Camel Plan, using stuff? Some of those 4, 5, 8 units? No?
No, I haven't seen it. Occasionally we'll see owner occupants qualifying for 4-unit buildings, 2 to 4 unit buildings with 5% down. I'd say that's the extent of what we see.
Okay. Hey, Kay, if they want to get to you, what's the best number? When do you say what's the best number and how to get to you guys for any information on commercial? These guys are killers. Agent PHL in Philly. Loved having you today, Brandon and Ryan. Congratulations on Scotty. I am looking forward to next time. And you guys are just huge energy. I love spending time. How are they going to get to you? How do they get to you?
My number is 267-945-8167, or email is probably easier. It's Brandon@agentphl.com.
There you go, everybody. If you also need, you can always DM me on any of my stuff. I'll connect. Follow us out on our podcast. We always talk about the 3 funnels: changing lives, making money, and having fun. Bottom line is, go out and change your life next week, this week, the following weeks, because you never know whose life you're going to change, who you're going to help. It might ultimately be your life that you're changing by helping somebody else. So, hey, guys, thank you for helping change the skyline of Philly. And let's look forward to the 250th birthday coming up in July.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thanks, Greg.
Hey, thanks, guys.